Remember Lauren Boebert? Whatever happened to her? Well, things aren't going well.
If you're going to take care of folks, like what about our veterans, Lauren? Because you're talking about lots of cuts and how to pay for things. I think if you're going to be America first, you can't put veterans last. So I do just want to point to your vote that you voted against care for veterans exposed to cancer-causing toxins and burn pits during war. So we definitely have different priorities, because I believe we should take care of our veterans, always.
In case you haven't been following the news about her, she had to change districts to run in this upcoming election because of a fiasco that happened in a theater where she was groping on her boyfriend and vaping in front of pregnant women. And anyway, but that's the least of her problems.
Republican Congresswoman Lauren Boebert yelled out that Biden had put service members in coffins. She referenced the 13 service members who were killed during that ugly withdrawal from Afghanistan last summer. What was your response to that moment?
I'm going to speak plainly, Jake. She's an idiot, all right? And yes, I said that. She cannot even equate that to what we're talking about right now. Those service members who served their country honorably and died in service when, what happened in Afghanistan happened, they were doing their duty. President Biden had nothing to do with that.
Yep, Lauren Boebert's lack of respect for others is starting to really hurt her because more and more people are realizing what a bad person she really is.
Hey, there's a lot of survivors over there if you want to...
Survivors of gun violence, if you want to talk to them.
Yeah.
Survivors from Uvalde, Parkland. You don't really care?
Did you have a nice
It's all right. My son died for you to just go do that.
I heard you're going to be a grandmother.
Mass shooting survivors, veterans, immigrants, she spits on them all. She's got no respect. She's got no intelligence. And it's starting to come through that this is how MAGA actually thinks. And remember that political stunt that Trump did at Arlington Cemetery? Guess who did it first?
Please join me today to honor and remember all of our military heroes who died while serving our country. We will never be able to thank them or honor them enough for making the ultimate sacrifice to defend us and our freedom. On this Memorial Day, God bless our nation's fallen heroes. God bless each and every one of you, and may God continue to bless the United States of America.
There she is using Arlington Cemetery for a political stunt to say that she supports the troops and she respects the troops, when in reality we come to find out that they being the GOP, does not really support the troops because they seem to keep voting against things that are in the interests of veterans. So they talk a big game, but then when it comes time to actually help out veterans, they don't really do much. We also know their leader, Donald Trump, famously has called soldiers fools for signing up. Why would they do it? He badmouthed John McCain, who was a war hero. He continues to do things that are basically disrespectful to the military. Even Arlington Cemetery, we know that the family of the soldier that was killed, one of the soldiers that was killed in Afghanistan, asked him to be a part of that ceremony, but there was other families that did not want their son or daughter's death to be politicized. And so Arlington Cemetery, especially where they were, is a sacred place. It's not supposed to be used for political purposes, and yet Donald Trump did. There's Lauren Boebert doing it. They talk about they want to stop gun violence and shootings in schools. So they say, oh, let's put more armed guards in schools. Let's arm teachers. And then when Lauren Boebert had a chance to go and talk to survivors of Uvalde and Parkland, she didn't even have the decency to go over there and say, hey, my condolences and my heart goes out to you, and I will do things to try and fix this. So in reality, what we come to find out is MAGA is a big grievance community. They have a lot of grievances. Taxes are high and the Chinese are taking over, and we need to support our veterans, and we need to fix the school shootings and all that stuff. But they don't have any solutions, and they certainly don't have any empathy for any of these people. And we keep seeing it over and over again. This most recent shooting that just happened in Georgia, what do we send? We send thoughts and prayers. Do we have actually any solutions? Not really. They say the solution is a good guy with a gun. Really? We saw that in Uvalde. It did not work. How about some common sense gun control? How about getting rid of this assault rifle, the AR-15, that really is not needed in our day and age and in our world. We need to have some common sense. Even gun owners that are responsible gun owners agree that common sense gun control is a good thing. And yet we've got people like Lauren Boebert who just talks a big game, but really doesn't have any solutions. She's really not that smart. I mean, she's not smart at all. And that's what the problem is when you get people coming in on grievance culture into Congress, you end up with some really not high-level thinkers. Think Lauren Boebert, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Jim Jordan, even your Ted Cruz's. These guys are all thinking based on their ideals and their beliefs, which are not logical. Just because you have a belief that you say, oh, I don't agree, I think women should not be allowed to have an abortion. Well, if you look at the statistics, first of all, a majority of Americans support a woman's right to choose. And furthermore, if you look at the statistics, it's actually, in the long run, it actually is a good option to have for some women who medically might need it, or some families who might not be ready to have a child. And yet these people are all basing their beliefs and everything that they base in terms of their thoughts are all based on these my ideals. And the same thing goes for their support of the troops, their support of veterans, which they talk a big game, but they don't deliver when it comes time to vote. She voted against that the relief for the burn victims. They talk about their support of the blue, the cops. And then you go, well, what about January 6th when these people attacked the police at the Capitol? You would think that as a country we could agree on the fact that attacking the Capitol is a bad thing. They would distance themselves from January 6th, and that they don't. They've taken that whole narrative and turned it around. Now those guys are hostages. Now those guys are, I can't wait till they start calling them, saints or whatever. It's really, if you start breaking it down, you realize that MAGA really does not have any solutions. They just have complaints. And Lauren Boebert is a perfect example. And again, finally, people are catching on. Even people in our own district are starting to go, oh, this lady doesn't do much for us. If you're in Lauren Boebert's district, or if you're in Marjorie Taylor Greene's district, if you're in Jim Jordan's district, look and see what they've done for you. Did they vote for the infrastructure bill that's going to help your district? No, they didn't. And yet they come around, they take credit for anything good that happens in their district. You have a bunch of people that really are not serious folks that are trying to have power in Washington, and what are they going to do for you? I really don't know. And it starts at the top. Donald Trump, he's got a bunch of ideas that really are nonsensical. His latest idea of, watch the video of him talking about how he's going to pay for childcare by putting tariffs on imports from other countries, is just nonsensical. And in the end, by the way, if you think your paycheck isn't going far enough right now, wait till Donald Trump puts those tariffs on those countries and see who ends up paying for those tariffs. You think putting tariffs on China, China just absorbed the cost? You think that the companies absorb the cost? No, they pass it down to you. So on every issue that you look at, these people are totally useless. And it starts with Donald Trump and it goes down the line. And I'm showing you Lauren Boebert because I want you to see someone who is starting to be found out slowly. Now, it's possible this new district that she's gone into doesn't know enough about her, and maybe they buy into the grievances and they vote for her. But I feel bad for that district if they do that. So with that said, please do a little bit of research. Go online before you vote. Make sure you're voting for someone who's doing something for you. All right, helping bring the costs down, helping bring your medical costs down, like Biden did when he negotiated prices for some of the medicines, and continuing to talk to health insurance companies about bringing down prices, like Biden did when he passed the infrastructure bill. So look at all that stuff. Look at what Kamala's going to do for you. Look at what Trump's going to do for you, and vote accordingly. Trump is getting ready to just make this into a dictatorship. Project 2025 will show you that if you read that. I know I'm throwing a lot at you. I know I'm giving you homework assignments. It's hot here in California. Global warming. How about doing something about that? Climate change. How about doing something about that? Anyway, I gave you a lot this time. I'm comedian Maz Jobrani. I have a special on YouTube. It's called The Birds and the Bees. Check it out. If you like it, tell your friends. If you don't like it, keep it to yourselves. I'm going to go jump in some water.